Hi guys, welcome back to Creatively Crafted Life. My name is Melanie and I'm still working through my die cuts. Just trying to condense things, repackage them into a more efficient way of doing so. Maybe purging a few. I'm not anticipating a lot of purging, but you never know. So this is my second bin. It is twice the size of the first one. We touched base on that a little bit, and you can see some of the space that we've gained so far in this little journey. I am thinking that maybe I can get up to here this time. That looks like a good cutoff. So I've got a few different categories. I've got something called, I don't even know if you could see this, food related. I have a few things in there. I've got handmade, a couple things, specifically kid oriented ones, or ones that I think of as a kid. I don't know if I'll keep this category or not, but yeah, maybe it's got baby and stuff like that. And then I have a really big section for nature. So think flowers, leaves, animals, no, not animals. Animals was in the first one. So nature other than animals. And then I have a travel section. This last bit here are what I call words, which I think expand into the next bin. So we're going to hold off on that. So let me pull these out by section and we'll go through them like we have in the past. I will do a quick flip through so you can see what I got, and then we'll figure out which ones we're going to try and condense, take a measurement, and see where we end up. But I need to take this off the desk because I need the space. Okay, so food related is super easy. I just have a punch, 2 dies, and an embossing folder. Obviously, I'm going to put this into one pocket. So for handmade, I have these buttons and I have this made with love die. I am going to actually move these to a completely different category. I'm just going to put these in my other shape category. So we're just going to move those over and we'll deal with them at a later date. Okay, so in the kids section, I have this little foot punch. Could it be used more for kids? Yeah, it could be used for beach, etc. But I think of a baby's foot when I see that, so that's why it's in here. I have this stencil, this die, and then I also have this die, which is a fairy. And I think I'm going to purge this one. So this is going to go out of my craft space. And then I have an embossing folder. So I'm not going to combine any of these because this won't fit on a magnet sheet anyways. So no other changes here, just one purge. I'm going to have to do this nature section in sections because there's just too much. So again, just for those of you that haven't caught my previous videos, in the front of these I always have representations of dies that I have stored elsewhere, namely like the Biggs dies, you know, the big thick ones that Sizzix has out. That's what these ones are. And then I will have also representations of punches or borders and stuff that I have elsewhere. So that's what all of these first little bits are. Could I combine these? Possibly. Not the objective for this particular go round. What I've been finding is mostly I've been focusing on these smaller ones to see if I can combine. Any of these kind of Sizzix dies I've been leaving as is, and pretty much everything else I've been trying to combine. These brass templates are not magnetic, so I'm not going to even pull that one out at this point. Small stencil. I don't know if I'm going to be able to combine this with anything. I'm going to put it aside just in case I do come up with something. Okay, and then I have a ton of these stencils from Plaid. I've just picked them up at Walmart or Target, I think. And I don't even know that I've actually used them yet, which is kind of sad. I need to pull them out and start using them. Okay, so all of those I'm just going to leave as is. Okay, then we've got the whole embossing section. I've got everything from the 3D ones to regular ones. Just gonna leave those as is. Typically, I have not been redoing these because they're almost a full sheet anyways. and it just doesn't make sense to repackage them, I don't think. Now, I could use magnet sheets on these. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, is if they don't have a magnet sheet, we'll add magnets, just so that they lie flatter, because flatter means less space. Okay, and then this is the last section. So the metal templates, or the metal stencils, have been around forever. I do still like them. I just, like everything, I just need more time. I need more time to play with all the stuff that I have. Okay, and then we've got some stencils, Tim Holtz stencils. Okay, that is it. Let me take a measurement and then we'll see where we end up. Okay, so this is about 4 inches as my starting point. So 4 inches, let's see if we can shrink this down. Put a comment below right now how much you think I'm gonna be able to condense this by. I'm thinking at least 1 inch, right? I should be able to bring this down to at least 3 inches. Maybe more? I don't know, let me know. Okay, let me go and play with this and I will be right back. Okay, so these are the ones that I did not change. All I did was add some magnets to some of these, and then the other ones, they just didn't work out. So that is as is, and then this is basically how I ended up combining them. So you can see quite a bit more utilized in them. Okay, so the moment of truth though, how much space did we save? I said 1 inch, right? So we were originally at 4 inches and I'm saying 3. Let's see. Let's see how I did. Did you get your guess in down below? I gotta look at it from a side angle. It is 2.5 inches. So I actually saved 1.5 inches with this section. So that is awesome. I am pleased with that. Let's move on to the travel section. So I thought the travel section was almost the rest of the bin, but there's also a vintage. So we'll do travel and vintage and then we'll wrap this one up. Embossing folders, we're not going to touch. I'm going to touch that one. More embossing folders. Interesting. I have two maps. I'm thinking maybe I can combine them into one package. Okay, so these are going to go back in the bin, and then let's take a measurement of these and then we'll talk about what I'm going to do with them. This is sitting at 1 3/4 inch. So these stencils here, they're super cute. I really do like them, but I don't like them when I actually do them as stencils. They just look a little bit weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to turn these into embellishments. So these are going to be repurposed like ephemera or something. So that's where those are going. And then the other thing I saw in here that I wanted to talk about were these items. So these were old creative memories, punch out die shapes. Right, so you punch out the shape, used it on an embellishment. And what I did was, this was way back in the day, we're talking like circa 1994. I applied some shelf liner on it to turn it into a stencil, but you guys, in all the years that I have had these, I have never used them. The only one I have used is that camera, which I flipped through earlier, and I'm going to leave that one. These ones here, I'm just going to purge. So these are going to be leaving my stash. And let me come back and show you how these all turned out. Okay, so here's the travel section all rearranged. I did put this one on a larger one just in case I have anything new that comes through. Sometimes I choose to do this, sometimes I don't. I have a little bit of space left on this one. This one I really jammed full. In fact, I even put some on the back. And this one, I know I have another hot air balloon die coming here soon. That's what this is. So I repackaged that one. And This one, thankfully I didn't have 2 dies of the United States. I didn't need to, but the other one was Canada. But I thought I would just throw them both in here anyways, and then all the words. So this was 1 3/4. Let's see where we end up now. It's about, let's say 7/8. 7/8. It's somewhere in between 3/4 and 7/8. So that's awesome. More space. Let's move on to vintage. Okay, so this is my vintage stack. A lot of these are probably not going to be able to condense. This is a punch. So we've got some punches, some dies that are stored elsewhere. Now in previous videos, I did not pull these out. I left them just as is, but I think I'm probably going to purge these. So I'm just flipping through, seeing if there's any icons that I'd like to probably keep, and then we're just going to include them in the measurements, but I just don't see me using these ones. Embossing folders, I'm just going through these as well because I think there might be some in here that I will purge, and the rest of this is just going back in the bin. Okay, let's take a measurement. It's 1 7/8 again. And I'm going to go through these again, pull out the ones that I'm going to purge. So I'm going to purge that, purge. And I'm also going to get rid of this crown embossing folder. Oh, and these embossing folders, this was supposed to be like a perfume bottle, and this is like a cameo. I don't know if you can see that. As a big stack. So now let's see if we can combine these into 1 or 2 of those larger pockets with the magnets. Okay, so this is all I have. I don't even know if this will measure with my little ruler. 1/8 of an inch, let's say. 1/8. Over 1.5 inches saved there. Editing Melanie is going to have to combine all of the savings so that we could see what the grand total was for today. I'm suspecting it's probably about, what, 4 inches maybe total? Is that right? 3 to 4 inches? Okay, so that's going to be it for this bin. We're almost finished. I've got a little bit of probably about 6 inches left in this bin, and then we're going to carry on into the third one, which is another double bin, and then 2 more single bins after that. So we're making good progress. I'm almost halfway done. Thanks for hanging out with me, and until next time, happy organizing.